Hello everyone, my name is Denisela Zamorano Flores, my classmate and me. We're going to talk a little about the communicative language teaching method, starting to explain what this method consists of. Well, this method consists of a student learning communicate correctly because communicating requires more than measuring the linguistic structure. That to the fact that language is fundamentally social. Wilson said that such observations contribute to a change in the field in the late in 1970 and early 1988 by promoting the communicative language teaching method from a centered linguistic approach to communicate approach. Language teaching a means broadly to make communicate competence the goal of language teachings. Another goal is to enable a student to communicate in the target language. To do this, a student needs knowledge of the linguistic forms, meanings, and functions. The students need to know the many different forms can be used to performs all a functions. The communications is a process of knowledge of the forms of language that these methods are means to teach students. In short, being able to communicate requires more than linguistic competence. It requires a communicative competence, knowing when and who to say what to whom.
Evening, Miss Wendy. My name is Alexa Denise Barahona, and I'm going to present the part of my presentation. And the chosen topic is what is the role of students and teachers in the communicating learning teaching method. So, firstly, the teacher or the role of the teacher is to be facilitator to the students' learning. The teacher is charged of promote the situation and promote the communication. The students are communicators and they learn by themselves. They learn to communicate by communicating. The teacher have to guide the students in the conversation and assist them in the meaning every single doubt that they have. So other point is the teacher also has the duty in the classroom, and they should be in focus the motivation according to the needs or interest to the students. So discussing topics is a useful tool to to create the motivation. In summary, the teacher has to be a patient listener with the student has a basic requirement. They have to be very patient with the students to improve the communication between the student and the teacher. And it was my short presentation about the role of the teacher and the student in this matter. Well,
Hello, Miss. My name is Janieris Belli Corrales Maldonado. Continue with the topic. At this time, I'm going to talk about some important characteristics of the communicative language learning, and I can say this method is focused on interaction as a means, and as an objective is in the learning of language. Also emphasize communication in the foreign language through interaction. So the most important or the most obvious characteristic is that almost everything is done with interactive or communicative intent. I can say that students use the language through communicative activities such as play games, create interview, survey, and resolve some task. And another important characteristic in the classroom would be create small groups in order to complete some activities in order to promote the interaction or the communication between the students. And also an important characteristic is the use of the authentic materials in order to develop strategies for understanding language and as it's actually used. And finally, I can say this method offers to a student opportunities in order to think in learning process and not using a language. So this will be my participation, and so this will be some important characteristic in the communicative language learning.
Hello everyone, my name is Gloria Stephanie Benitez and I hope everybody are okay at home. I am going to continue with the topic, and at this moment I am going to talk a little about some advantages and disadvantages that the community language teaching has. I am going to begin with some advantages. First, I want to mention that one advantage that the community language teaching is to increase the fluency of the target language. It means this enables to learners and or students don't be afraid or feel more confident to talk with another people, and also they enjoy doing that activity. And other advantage that I want to share with you is that doesn't matter in what course you are, if you are at the beginning or if you are at the end. You, the teacher, and you could employ this method. Doesn't matter if you are at the beginning or you are at the end. Another advantage is that this method improve the fluency or the good pronunciation or the power of the expression. What does it mean that? That the students and the teacher increase their relationships. The student don't be afraid to talk with the teacher or to ask some question to the teacher. And the last advantage that I want to share is that this method permits to the student to be aware of their abilities. What does it mean that? Well, the student can have a freedom expression, that the student can be her point of view. Right now, I am going to continue with the disadvantages. And one disadvantage that this method has could be that it is difficult alone for the teacher to check how is the language of his students, especially if the teacher had a big group of classes. It is difficult to recognize what are the mistakes that the students have. Another disadvantage is that this method doesn't stress in the reading and writing skills because its method focus on the fluency of the speech. And the last disadvantage that I want to share is that probably this method is ineffective in a large classes. As I was saying before, if the teacher has a lot of students in a group, this method is ineffective because the teacher don't take care to all the students. And that is all our presentation, and I hope you will enjoy it.
Hello everyone, continue with the topic communicative language learning. As my partner said before, with this method, the students feel very relaxed, very positive, because the environment created in the classroom is very nice for the students and the teacher. The friendship created between the teachers and the students is very important. With this method, the students always have an idea what will happen in each activity because the teacher provides the resource for the student notes about it. There are some techniques that the teacher can use in this method. One technique is record the student conversations. The technique gives to the student the opportunity about what to say or when to say it. This is a technique used to record student generate language. The student can use gestures and the teacher translates what the student says. For this technique, it's very necessary the use of some devices, for example, computer or other devices. And the recording can also provide the simple satisfaction to the students to listen to their voice, and they help in this provide to the student a good satisfaction. For this technique is very necessary all the knowledge created by the teacher and the students. The teacher can burn on a CD or can use an MP3, and after the teacher gives them to the students. There are other techniques, is transcriptions. In this technique, the teacher transcribes the recorded target language conversation. Each student is given the opportunity to translate to the utterance created by him or by her. And the teacher writes in the native language equivalents to the recorded. The transcription provides a basis for future activities. The purpose of this technique is increasing student security. The use of these methods is very important in the English education because they provide a lot of resources for a good learning. Thank you.